Hello, beautiful family in the light. It's Honeybee, wishing you an incredible and amazing Moon Day Monday. Today is the incredible 12th of March, and we're just, 10 days, less than 10 days, 9 days short from the spring equinox. And some of you know I've been resting, so-called resting, but it has been resting as I'm taking some time to just be with my own energy field and playing some catch up with friends, and also getting ready for the spring energy, as it is an important as part of my culture of the new year coming up, getting myself ready and getting my children ready, and just this space of March for me before I'm back out in service to others. This May would be 6 years that I have been on the road extensively, being of service for my divine mission, particularly planetary, with the activations and the codes and dispersing them, and also assisting the communities of light in many different countries and many different individuals on a personal level with their ascension and guiding, and also the personal healing in assisting themselves to giving the power back to them so they can align with heart, mind, soul, and body of divine within, so that way they can serve what they're here to serve. So it's been amazing, incredible, and it's very important to take time off for yourself to be able to just embrace one's own energy field. And it's amazing. Sometimes we decide to take off, but you don't necessarily fully move into being in complete stillness and doing nothing, because there's still a few things that are lingering around the field that has to be taken care of before you can fully be in that space. So Michael and I have been in that process, as Michael is facilitating all the Archangel Michael healing transformational sessions, and then I'm taking care of some of these before the full dedication to the channeling with the master starts in April. And I'm so honored to be starting that at Alpha Awareness Institute in Leesburg, Virginia. That's totally booked already, and many more after that, both nationally and internationally, in the communities that we have already served and I have served, and then also all the new communities that are ready to handle the material that will be shared, guided by the higher masters. And in order to do this as a channel, or as those of us who are of service, it is very important that we hone in that energy and we take in the necessary time and space that we need for our service. And a lot of times, many of the healers don't take that space for themselves because they're constantly of service to others. And I fully know that space also very well. And when we're constantly of service to others, we don't take equal amount of time for ourselves. We are functioning from a sort of like a limited space, because the streamline is coming in, but it's also sort of like, how do I want to say this? We're not able to fully receive it because we're so depleted of giving out. So there has to be that state of balance. And it's so important to be able to take the necessary time off. Though it is challenging when we have families, we have the responsibilities, but this becomes the art of finding that mastery balance, how to create this within ourselves, because it all begins on the inside, so that way it can manifest on the outside in that third dimensional reality, although we're living more in that fourth dimensional reality anyway. So I also wanted to share what's important in this space. In this space, I wanted to really talk about triggers here. Triggers is a huge part of ascension. As we're ascending back to our sovereign state of being, the incredible spirit in the soul and the aspects and the monads that we are in the physical finite expression of the human embodiment, there are triggers within us that are placed there due to eons of times, through conditioning, programming, trauma, drama, pain, suffering, and what have you. And they do show up. Some of it has to do with the karmic cleaning, some of it has to do with the service of Dharma, some of it has to do with the soul integration and expansion, some of it has to do just with plain you volunteer. Doesn't matter, it's still there. And while this is here, that trigger is there within the fabrics of the being in the fourth dimensional body, and it is there trapped in the emotional and mental body and has to release, because that same trigger is also what's around the stratosphere around Earth. And in order for that to evolve for the fifth dimensional frequencies to be able to anchor properly on Mother Earth as a streamlined frequency, the trigger does not let you, because it pours in, but through this gold energy, and when it transfers through the heart with the silver energy to be able to anchor into the 144th grid, it just cannot, and you won't be a good conduit. And the reason for that is because that indicates there's a blockage of the energy that is not able to be flowing. And we learned this from Archangel Michael himself, that had explained it. So that's what the work is, what my beloved Michael does in helping removing these blockages from the bodies through the sound that comes at the ancient sound to help expand it, so that way this can come. Now, point of it is the triggers, and the triggers only create a trigger response within the person when there is a held energy in there, in the field. Otherwise, something could be said or done, but it won't create a trigger response. And from that place, it won't have an impact on your life or anything, because it won't be able to permeate. And the only reason why it permeates is because it needs to clear. So I'm here to shine light on this in terms of welcoming the triggers, recognizing it instead of avoiding and resisting it because it feels bad and it's hurtful and it's painful and what have you. Yes, those are there. But if you just take a step back, they're only showing up within your field, within your entire auric field, because somewhere within your 12 layers of your auric field, within your entire aspects and monads and this different bodies, your 7 bodies, but particularly the fourth dimensional aspect of yourself, your emotional mental body, it is a stuck energy held within the fabrics that needs to release. And that's why it's showing up from a place of love to guide you, show you, communicate to you, this needs to be released. And when you are able to first become aware, then you can take the action in releasing it as you get to watch the energy emotion rise up like a volcano, because it is a emotion that has a charge to it. And as soon as the charge is met, so often what happens is somewhere in your background, somewhere in your often childhoods, often always childhood, about 90% of the time, it's the inner, just the feeling is still stuck there. And now it's playing out to bring the awareness to you so that you can welcome it and also bless it and recognize it no longer holds truth in your current state of being, so you can thank it, release it with love, and boom, it transmutes. And also it doesn't have that hold within your own field anymore, because once it doesn't, it just doesn't affect you. So I have an interesting story to tell you. It's very interesting. I was with my aunt, whom I haven't seen for over, 20 some years, and she hasn't seen me, and since many years. She lives in a different country, different language, and this and that. And of course, I'm a very different person than she saw me 20 years ago, and also being a mother and choosing things differently. And on top of it, having died, been sent back, and change of marriage, and all of this. So we're seeing each other, and mind you, I haven't had conversation with her more than like 5 minutes. So right away she gets in. She wants to know, what would you answer to your family members that are curious, why did you leave your children? So I have to tell you, before over the years, this really bothered me. It really hurt me. There was so much sadness in me because people who couldn't, hadn't walked in my shoes or hadn't experienced what I'd experienced or didn't have the courage or the will to follow the calling, they had such judgment towards my choices of choosing to honor my higher calling, and especially as a mother, because it seems like when a man answers that call, there's more acceptance. But if you're a female, you're from the Middle East, and also you're a mother, you are going to honor your higher calling because you've had that direct experience. And in my case, I've had this direct experience that I can't deny. It's interesting, there's not a respect for that at all. And so then there's a lot of sadness around it because those who have not done it themselves, they can't appreciate it, they can't respect it, and they can't even fathom it because it doesn't even stay in their vibration reality. So it was so interesting hearing this from my aunt today. I said, I thank you for your question, and it is an important question, and I like to answer that at a different time when we have time and space, because this is not the place for it. And I just watched myself in this relaxed, joyful state, not even nothing impacted me, and I was like, this feeling of tap in the shoulder, because for many years it was very hurtful how much I was judged by that. But again, there's no trigger response. Why? Because I've had to deal with those judgments before, and those judgments that came gave me the opportunity to face myself and myself in the presence of divine. Who do I answer to? Who am I here to please others or answer to my higher calling? And do I have the courage? Do I have the courage to stand tall and honor and going against a whole lot of the sort of like the way people go, but choose to go against it because there's a different calling? And that means I'll be ridiculed, I'll be judged, I will be all kinds of things, and friendships losing, and family, all of that, because there's this thing of non-acceptance. And those are things that I all signed up for, and I've had to face those. And as that became very strong in me, and that streamline giving me the gift of keep going forward and knowing I only answer to what I need to answer, and allow this energy, this frequency to do its job through me. I don't have to convince anyone. I don't have to. Those who have the heart and the ears to hear, to heart it, they'll receive it. And those that don't, they're closed off. And it's amazing. So point being, there was no more trigger in me to want to defend, to want to answer back, to want to nothing, just relax back. But it took a while to get here. It took a while to get here because I had to face all of my triggers as a child. The triggers that used to be there, they're no longer triggers. How I was judged and not accepted, not, always feeling outcast and, again, socially not acceptable because you're a different child. Those of us who are medium children, we are able to see things in higher dimensional realms that in our Western society, these gifts are not considered gifts. If anything, they're tabooed or they're not respected or honored. And even though I come from a family of folk medicine and healers, but even that's been so suppressed, and so as a result of it, it's just never embraced. So yet there's some kind of something for it, but yet it's like stay as far as you can. So I've had to face all of those one by one, and all the pain, all the suffering, all that it created and also played out in my life to be able to be where I am today and not have anything that used to be called trigger have a response. And what's so beautiful That's exactly what it is. You will go through this because you are part of directly transferring that and transcending that within yourself, and then have your own direct experience where that has become your teacher. Your teacher within has awoken. You have rise from your own ashes. You have resurrected in your own sacred flame. You have created that, and you're owning your own divine essence, and from there you share. So there's a sense of ownership and empowerment. So that's why any other of these energies doesn't have a hold over you, because you've transcended. So it's no longer a trigger, it's a gift, and you're able to recognize that easily in another, because that's where you're serving from. So that's what I really wanted to share out, what a gift trigger is. When it comes, notice it, open it, invite it, because loving universe is truly loving. Yes, it's uncomfortable when it shows us. Yes, but if you take a step back and create that greater alignment and recognition that this divine essence will not, divine orchestration, would not have taken place if it wasn't part of my becoming in my own alignment of my true divine alchemy, then this wouldn't have taken place. It's only happened because something in me needs to tighten up. The loose ends have to tighten up, or the screws have to tighten up, or there's an impurity that has to be, released out of my field, so I can be the conduit of this gracious, beautiful, sacred flame without any blockages. So it can streamline through me, and I am able to bring this gold liquid energy of the cosmic Christ, my immortal perfection and divine essence, and that divine flame right here on earth as my service. So these things do not have a place in it. And each one you go through is part of you ascending to your higher state of being. Eventually, we're all going to get there. Some of us have signed up to be in the forefront, and some of us have signed up to not be in the forefront leaders. We're just sort of going along, but eventually we're going to be there. And if you know you are at the leading front, the leading edge front of the line, you also must accept you go through the biggest and most difficult tasks and tests, and your final exams are brutal, because they're there to test you, to see if you got it and you're able to rise up. Even though it's so difficult, but it is the most incredible gift when you pass the test and you're able to recognize it was a test from the universe for your ascension, and you were able to master that one. There's several arts that we're mastering to be able to come in this place. So celebrate it, welcome it, open it, and know these gifts are coming in different packaging. Some are beautiful, as I always share in all my public speaking events, but some are not in beautiful packages. Regardless, they're gifts, and it's not coming to hurt you. It is part of it to help you expand. And the dark force energy is also part of this. It will only come through the presence of triggers, because somewhere in you is not aligned. And the minute it's aligned, it leaves your field, because it cannot stay in that vibration. So I hope this message shines some light over triggers with you, and get to shift your perception of that and not have resistance, but allow and welcome it, and give yourself the gift and the opportunity to fully liberate yourself from the bondages and these limitations and shortcomings of life, because who you are is love, and within the field of true state of loving vibration, nothing can live in there. Are we there yet as a collective energy? No. Am I there yet 100%? No. Am I pretty close? I would say yes. Am I fully 100%? No, but you bet I'm devoted and dedicated one by one. These sleeves are rolled up and I'm going through them one by one by one. It's like, bring it on. I am in on this ride. That's why I volunteered to come to Earth with my other sacred sisters and brothers to bring that which I know, which is the presence of love that I've come from, to anchor it here on Earth. And as we come together in alignment and allow the flame of divine to move through us, we're able to lift all of these back into light. So much love to you. Aho, namaste, en lakesh banure esh. It's so beautiful that we get to walk together, share together, see through the same lens together, honor ourselves, respect ourselves, because we're in the presence of divine that we stand. And in that place I breathe. I am that I am. Tuhati hiukuati tiahuoku tahuatiahi ayagua tayahiaguahi tayahayaguatua tayahiahi utuakayahia tayauugua tayahiagi utua tayaya taua tayahiahi. Ooh! So delicious. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you for watching.